There was once a young disciple who lived in a monastery with his master. The young disciple was eager and enthusiastic, but he also had a habit of being too open and honest. He often shared everything he knew and felt with others, thinking that this was the way to be truthful and virtuous. His master often warned him that some things are better kept private, but the young disciple did not listen. One day, the master decided to test his disciple's understanding of privacy. He gave him a small wooden box and told him to open it. Inside the box, there were 10 shiny objects that looked like jewels. The master told his disciple that these were not ordinary jewels, but treasures that represented 10 aspects of his life that he should always keep private. The first treasure was a ruby that represented his past. The master told his disciple that his past was his own personal history and should not be revealed to anyone who did not need to know. He said that sharing his past could expose him to judgment, criticism, or ridicule. He explained that a ruby was a precious stone that had a deep red color and a high durability. It symbolized passion, courage, and loyalty. Similarly, one's past was a valuable part of one's identity that had shaped one's character and values. It reflected one's experiences, achievements, and challenges. The second treasure was a sapphire that represented his future. The master told his disciple that his future was his own personal vision and should not be revealed to anyone who did not share it. He said that sharing his future could expose him to doubt, envy, or sabotage. He explained that a sapphire was a precious stone that had a bright blue color and a high clarity. It symbolized wisdom, truth, and faith. Similarly, one's future was a bright prospect that awaited one's discovery and realization. It reflected one's goals, dreams, and aspiration. The third treasure was an emerald that represented his knowledge. The master told his disciple that his knowledge was his own personal power and should not be revealed to anyone who did not deserve it. He said that sharing his knowledge could expose him to arrogance, ignorance, or exploitation. He explained that an emerald was a precious stone that had a vivid green color and a high rarity. It symbolized growth, prosperity, and harmony. Similarly, one's knowledge was a rare asset that enhanced one's abilities and opportunities. It reflected one's learning, understanding, and insight. The fourth treasure was a diamond that represented his wealth. The master told his disciple that his wealth was his own personal resource and should not be revealed to anyone who did not appreciate it. He said that sharing his wealth could expose him to greed, jealousy, or theft. He explained that a diamond was a precious stone that had a clear color and a high brilliance. It symbolized purity, strength, and beauty. Similarly, one's wealth was a clear indicator of one's status and success. It reflected one's resources, assets, and achievements. The fifth treasure was a pearl that represented his love. The master told his disciple that his love was his own personal emotion and should not be revealed to anyone who did not reciprocate it. He said that sharing his love could expose him to rejection, betrayal, or heartbreak. He explained that a pearl was a precious stone that had a white color and a high luster. It symbolized elegance, grace, and love. Similarly, one's love was a beautiful emotion that enriched one's life and relationships. It reflected one's feelings, affections, and commitments. The sixth treasure was an amethyst that represented his faith. The master told his disciple that his faith was his own personal belief and should not be revealed to anyone who did not respect it. He said that sharing his faith could expose him to ridicule, persecution, or conversion. He explained that an amethyst was a precious stone that had a purple color and a high spirituality. It symbolized peace, protection, and faith. Similarly, one's faith was a powerful belief that guided one's actions and decisions. It reflected one's values, principles, and convictions. The seventh treasure was a topaz that represented his talent. The master told his disciple that his talent was his own personal gift and should not be revealed to anyone who did not acknowledge it. He said that sharing his talent could expose him to criticism, competition, or plagiarism. He explained that a topaz was a precious stone that had a yellow color and a high energy. It symbolized joy, optimism, and creativity. Similarly, one's talent was a natural gift that sparked one's imagination and expression. It reflected one's skills, abilities, and passions. The eighth treasure was an opal that represented his creativity. The master told his disciple that his creativity was his own personal expression and should not be revealed to anyone who did not understand it. He said that sharing his creativity could expose him to mockery, boredom, or censorship. He explained that an opal was a precious stone that had a rainbow color and a high fire. It symbolized magic, mystery, and creativity. Similarly, one's creativity was an amazing quality that unleashed one's potential and originality. It reflected one's ideas, innovations, and solutions. The ninth treasure was a turquoise that represented his happiness. The master told his disciple that his happiness was his own personal state and should not be revealed to anyone who did not share it. He said that sharing his happiness could expose him to envy, resentment, or guilt. He explained that a turquoise was a precious stone that had a blue-green color and a high healing. It symbolized happiness, health, and friendship. Similarly, one's happiness was an essential state that promoted one's well-being and harmony. It reflected one's satisfaction, gratitude, and joy. The 10th treasure was a jade that represented his peace. The master told his disciple that his peace was his own personal goal and should not be revealed to anyone who did not support it. He said that sharing his peace could expose him to disturbance, conflict, or violence. He explained that a jade was a precious stone that had a green color and a high serenity. It symbolized peace, balance, and wisdom. Similarly, one's peace was an ultimate goal that transcended all worldly troubles and conflicts. It reflected one's calmness, harmony, and enlightenment. The master then closed the box and handed it back to his disciple. He told him to keep the box as a reminder of the 10 treasures that he should always keep private. He said that by doing so, he would protect his true self and his inner peace. The young disciple thanked his master for his teachings and vowed to follow them. He kept the box in a safe place and never opened it again. He also stopped sharing everything he knew and felt with others, and instead focused on cultivating his own virtues and talents. He became more confident and expressive, but also more discreet and respectful.